Ah, what angel wakes me from my flowery bed? Good afternoon, how are you? My name is Michael Loader, and amongst other things I tell stories. This is my story shed. It's a lovely place to come, to have a cup of tea, or have a think, or have a chat to myself, to listen to nature, or just be creative. It's a great place to come and hide, to get away from those inside. It's a great place to just be, really. So today I'm going to give you a little flavour of a story. I do tell traditional stories from all over the world, the wonderful words of wisdom that our ancestors have passed down to us through the ages. Also, I often come in here and sit at my desk just over there and ponder and think, to write new stories. But also, I love spontaneous stories, things that are created in the moment. And in this wonderful new magic carpet story fest that we're getting together, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to offer spontaneous stories, stories that I do not know, stories that I've never told before, stories that you've probably never heard before, stories that we can create together. So with this wonderful faculty and facility of Zoom, we can make stories in the moment. So this story is going to start with a sound, because as I've been just sitting back here, I heard some tiny little feet on the roof of the shed. A bird, probably a blackbird, because we've got some wonderful berries and blackcurrants in the back garden. And the birds are probably over them, after them. So little tiny scurrying feet have been over the roof. So we're going to start with that and see where we get to. As I was sitting in my shed, just minding my own business and relaxing in the warmth of a lovely summer's day, out of the window I could see no clouds that were grey, but the clouds were drifting pearly white with a brilliant blue like the sea. And as I looked up, there in the sea of blue, I saw. What did I see? I saw something swimming about, something moving through the blue sphere, the stratosphere. It was a rabbit. It was a rabbit. Oh, hello, 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 down there. And how is your life and your world today? Said the rabbit. It started bouncing across the sky, and I couldn't quite take my eye away from it. It seemed to be doing a sort of bunny breaststroke through the sky, and then hanging on the clouds, shouting, me oh my, and swinging from side to side. What's that? Two very large, intertwined feet. It was getting strange. You know what? It was getting rather neat. And I loved all the magic and the wonder and the curious chaos of this wonderful splendour that I could see up in the sky. And so I opened the window, a crack or two, let in some warm summer breeze, some fresh air. the sound of a strimmer, the sound of a gentle wind just rustling through the trees. And you know what? Somehow, as I put on my sunglasses to actually look at the sun outside, I seemed to drift on a tiny little hair. A tiny little hair that had got caught into my glasses, and like a spider, I spun myself along the thread out of the window. I was now that small, very, very small, and I wandered outside. Fortunately, I missed the spider's web. Otherwise, I would have been a lunch, a munch, and a brunch for that 8-legged arachnid. Out I went, and I started to float up into the sky. It was a wonderful, wonderful time. Have you ever floated? Have you ever been up into the sky? As I started getting into the clouds, well, I stepped down onto the clouds. And as I looked around me, I was in some sort of jungle, looking around this jungle, wondering if I might bump into Jack and his beanstalk. I moved around, and then I saw before me, lying on the cloud, well, I'm not quite sure what it was. It was a mixture of a feather and something that jingled, something that jangled. It even had a hair clip in it, and a thing that dangled. I picked it up, and I waved it around, and on a whim, I made a wish. I made a wish, and then I saw, you will not believe it, I saw a red herring fish, and the red herring fish began to sing. So now you'll fly so high, so now you fly right in the sky, so now you want a little wish. Well, touch me, I'm a red fish, and I reached out for the fish, but then I fell down and down and down and down back towards the land, and landed with a splash. It all went dark. It all went very dark. Very, very dark indeed. This is the problem, pressing things on your phone that you don't really know what they're for. And everything seemed to go dark as I went down and down and down into the ocean. And there, I saw an urchin, a tiny little round prickled fish floating before me, just minding its own little fishy business. And I reached out to touch its prickle. And something caught me right on the end of my finger. It was as sharp as a thistle. And as I sucked it in, I appeared back in my shed. And now it was time for night. And so I reached out for my eye coverings and fell fast asleep. Well, I hope you enjoyed that little bit of foolery, that little bit of spontaneous chaos. So join me and all the other storytellers on our new storytelling festival when it all comes into fruition. Thanks for joining. Bye.